How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Sidelined. I'm Brooke Fletcher. That's my girl, Danny K. Danny, it's great to see you. First off, I love the spooky decorations behind us. It is fall, everybody. You're always good with a theme, Danny.
Well, it's because I live with my sister who is an elementary school teacher. So we're always really good with the decor because as soon as October 1st hit, those things were coming out. I wish I could take credit for it, but I do make sure I say that they have to be tasteful and not like gaudy, if that makes any sense. So I'm very particular about the decorations, but she does a really good job. So I can take zero credit for it.
I am all like Halloween is my second favorite holiday. And so I keep telling Jake that our place is not spooky enough. So we have like the cute pumpkins and I'm like, I need spider webs. I need the purple lights. I need everything. And he told me I have to chill, but it's progressively getting there.
Well, bury the lead. The fact that Jake is with you right now in Chicago, I know is sad for him and the Padres, but selfishly, maybe kind of exciting for you to be able to have Jake back with you.
It is nice. It is nice to have him. And I'm watching my friend's dog right now. He's scratching at the door. So apologies. But no, it is nice to have Jake back. And, obviously we want him to move. Can you hold on one second? Yeah. He's scratching my door. Hold on.
You're like, do not let that happen.
Okay. So sorry. But yes, it is nice. Do you want to see Frankie? Frankie, come here. Come here. This is Frankie, everyone. He's making his CHSN debut. He has a lot to say, clearly.
He's excited.
Yes. But as I was saying, it's, it is nice to have Jake here since we can't ever see each other during season. But it sucks because we wanted, obviously, for him to move on and the playoffs and go on to the World Series. But yeah.
Can I just tell you, I sat and you know me, I'm not going to take in like too much baseball, but postseason baseball I'll watch. And I may or may not slightly be a Cubs fan, but in this particular moment, I was not.
You were rooting for the Padres. I appreciate it.
I was rooting for the Padres. Yes, I was like literally taking a picture of my screen. I was like, why would she want a picture of me taking a picture of Jake on my screen? She's literally watching him in person. Why am I doing this? So I never sent them to you, but I do have them. I couldn't believe how invested Morgan and I were sitting on the couch, and you would have thought I was married to Jake. Like I thought I was going to sweat through my entire shirt each game. And and as it was like winding down towards the last out, I'm looking at the lineup. I was like, how is Brooke breathing?
I wasn't breathing. I've never had my heart beat out of my chest as hard as it. I mean, it was bad. I was so nervous. You get so nervous because you get so excited for them and you want them to perform well and the team, and you get so invested with it's such a long season with baseball, especially. And so, you know how hard they work. And so you want, you want them to win and you want them to do well. So it is funny.
He's going to be the last batter. That was all that I was praying for. And it wasn't. He wasn't.
Scared me. It was, it's such a nerve-wracking situation. But I do need to give a shout out to White Sox fans because I had a lot of White Sox fans text me. And they became Padres fans during this series. So much that one of my coworkers, he's a diehard White Sox fan, ordered not a Cub. He ordered a Padres hat. And he was like, I'm the biggest Padres fan this week. So shout out to you White Sox fans for supporting the Padres during that series. I appreciate you. But Danny, you're about to get busy right now. Things are going to pick back up. You're about to go to Paris soon.
Yeah, in a couple weeks. So we'll have a couple more episodes before I start jet setting again. But I'm really soaking it in. Like I just love having the free time. It's to some degree a little bit too much free time, but got a new opportunity actually with Tennis Channel. I've been hosting Sundays now. There's a new show. It's a race to the WTA finals. It's just like a special, and it's the next like few Sundays in a row. So that was pretty cool because I've actually never, as long as I've worked at Tennis Channel, this is kind of crazy to say, but I've like never hosted a special TV show for them where it's like a 30-minute show. So this is a new, although if people have seen me on any of the Chicago networks or any of the other ones, obviously I've done it before, but just never for this network. So anytime you get an extra opportunity, it's really exciting. So that's going to be really fun.
Well, you're absolutely crushing it. So it doesn't surprise me why you're getting more opportunities, but you're an incredible host. People see it here on Sideline. So we'll have to tune it. What time on Sundays?
That's a really great question. I actually don't even know, but keep your
well,
eyes
good to
peeled.
know.
We'll retweet the stuff on social media and all the things. But look, you're a great host. I love to do my hosting thing, but I used to host alongside a very special guy who's coming on today. And this is so cool. Cam Smith was my co-host on Live on the Line over at Valley Sports Stadium, which is now, of course, CHSN, but huge milestone career move for him. He is now the official host of the Bulls pre and post game show, which is so exciting for a guy that was born and raised in Chicago. So without further ado, let's welcome Cam in. Well, we are so excited to have Cam Smith joining us, a friend of both of ours. Cam used to have to host a show with me every single day. So the fact that we get to catch up here is so exciting. Cam, how are you?
I'm doing great. It's great to be on Sideline with you and Brooke. And yes, it feels like a reunion show right now with me and you, DK. Like when I popped on, it was just like all smiles. I wish we were like in the same vicinity and place so we can give each other a big hug because it's been that long. Like obviously individual lives are busy and of course with work and everything, but it's so great to be on with you guys. And I love the show. And I'm just glad that I get to grace the presence of 𝗵𝗵𝗀𝗀 and Brooke Fletcher on Sideline. So I'm excited to have this conversation, guys.
Well, you're Cam, so sweet. Yeah. And like, I feel like I haven't seen you in forever. You literally added another kid to the roster since I've seen you last and a new job. So we're excited to learn just about everything that's going on in your life. Yeah. I know you're a Chicago born and bred kid. So where exactly did you grow up into Chicago? What high school? Mm-hmm. I know all of that's super important for all of our Chicago listeners.
Look, everyone from Chicago understands this. And for those outside of Chicago, it's a big thing when someone will ask you if they're from Chicago or they've lived in Chicago, they always ask this question. What high school did you go to? Like that's always the big thing because they judge you off of that. So I was born and raised on the west side of Chicago, the Austin community. To be exact, I could literally, during my bus trips to high school, could see, and I still call it the Sears Tower. It's not going to be the Willis Tower at any time. I could see that from the 126 bus that I used to take at about 5 a.m. in the morning because I would have to take two buses to get to high school. It took me about an hour 15 on certain days. But it was just one thing that I could always just envision for myself, just like, okay, that was always something that I aspired to kind of be a part of, or just kind of, as I got older, I would love to work downtown because I see the Sears Tower every time I get on the bus. So to answer the question, I went to Gordon Tech High School. It's on Chicago's north side. Unfortunately, it is no more. It's actually transitioned. The doors have closed and it's now DePaul College Prep. So the good thing about that is that they still kept the Rams nickname. So I'm still a Ram for life. Basketball program is actually doing really well. They've won 3 straight state championships.
Wow.
And multiple classes, which has been the first time a basketball program in the history of Illinois. I believe this is true. Fact check me on that for those watching the pod. If I'm wrong, then charge it to my head and not my heart. But I believe that they're the first high school to win 3 state championships in different classes. It's a 4-class system in Illinois high school basketball. And the great Tom Kleinschmidt, who was the greatest player in Gordon Tech basketball history, is the head coach over at DePaul College Prep, and he's done a phenomenal job over there. So, yeah, still Rams, but Gordon Tech, the building is still there. Unfortunately, the school name and everything associated with it is no more, but I'm still a Ram through and through. But that was where I went to high school, small all-boys high school. That I went to, about 500 students, but it was always about sports. And that was the thing that drew me to Gordon Tech. The academic side as well. And growing up, my older brother and I were 4 years apart. So I just missed out on being in the same school with him. I would have loved to do that. But when he was a senior in high school, I was in 8th grade. And so as he graduated, I was graduating in 8th grade, and we had just missed each other by a year. But it was just a school and a program that we had been around since we were kids. And just some of my best basketball memories are from there and really added to my life. So yeah, that's where I went to high school, Gordon Tech High School, the old Gordon Tech High School, but still Rams.
Still represent. Was your brother your hero growing up?
No doubt. No doubt. My brother was a superhero and still in my eyes, still a superhero in my eyes, especially growing up on the west side of Chicago, because as I mentioned, we're 4 years apart. And my mother would describe me as a kid, and it's my mom, so I understand why she described me this way. She would say that I was a busy kid. I wasn't a bad kid. I was a busy kid. So I'm
Wait,
like, Mom, as I got older.
I like that.
he's just busy. He's always got his
He's
hands
just
in
busy,
something.
right? Yeah, he's just
Yeah.
always getting in trouble at school, or always has to be told 3 or 4 times to stop doing something. But she would describe me as busy. But with that busyness, I always had my older brother to protect me, and he was everything. He was like the guy in, 5th, 6th grade that had muscles, and drinking milk all the time and playing basketball. He was a really good basketball player. As I mentioned, played at Gordon Tech too, and finished his collegiate career at St. Joseph's College. It's a Division II school in Rensselaer, Indiana, which is closed down now. So it's weird because our elementary schools are no more. Our high schools are no more. And my college is still around, but his college is no more. So it's like, all right, we only have so much time left. We're being erased throughout history. But no, he was and still is everything.
Isn't he still quite a hero?
Yeah, no, he definitely is. He's still my hero, and definitely a hero for so many people because he's getting ready to celebrate his 20th year as a Chicago police officer. And so with that role and just the service that he's been able to provide for so many to protect a lot of people and just help them out in situations, he definitely slaps on the hero title for me and has lived that through and throughout my entire life. So yes, he's doing a phenomenal job. I believe he's planning to retire soon, which is great. But it's just a blessing for him to reach 20 years as a Chicago police officer.
That's incredible. Cam, one thing I always have admired about you, and Danny, I'm sure you'll say the same, but you being from Chicago, the pride that you have, even just hearing you talking about high school basketball and how big of a deal it is here, but just that was years ago when you were in high school, but just the pride you have for the city. And it's it's in your blood.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's just something that you're born with, right?
Yeah.
I think every city respectively has their own pride and just they lift their cities up when that conversation comes about of okay, where are you from? Oh, it's not like this city. You take pride in where you're from. And that's what we do in Chicago because Chicago, some people call it the second city. I've never given weight to that. We've always viewed ourselves as really a melting pot in between because we're in the Midwest and you have the West Coast and New York and, you have the South as well. And we're just a mix of all of those different regions of the country, but we also stand out in just who we are creatively, athletically, and just what we provide to not only the country, but the world. Chicago has done a lot. And I don't want to run through the list, but it's a lot in terms of innovations, creations, inventions, contributions to the sports world, just so many different things. And so we carry that with a sense of pride, and it goes to another level when you talk basketball and, me playing AAU and going out of town and, trying to prove that Chicago has the best basketball players to a city like New York or Philadelphia or LA. You carry that with you. And it's just something that you always love about it, where that you're unique, but also you also know that, there's something to prove about the city and who you are. But it's just who we are as Chicagoans. We really take pride and have that old school blue collar approach. It sounds cliche, but it really is true.
No, and I think you're a bit of I say a historian in terms of what Chicago specifically sports scene has looked like. So growing up, obviously you would have been a huge Bulls fan. Who wouldn't be growing up in the city of Chicago? But what was the biggest sports memory? What do you remember the most growing up where you were this is the coolest thing ever. This is why I'm a fan. Was it a Bulls game? Was it White Sox? Was it Cubs? What was it for you?
It was no doubt the Chicago Bulls. And that's where the pride elevates for Chicagoans too, especially during the 90s where Michael Jordan took over the league. I mean, he was already in position late 80s and getting ready to take things over, but it cemented the city and also cemented the Bulls franchise when they won that first chip in 91. So my first memory always goes back to that first championship in 1991. And it was tradition for my family to watch the NBA finals, especially the game-clinching game, over at my grandmother's house. So we would have Sunday dinners after church. And so it would be me, my brother, my cousins, my aunts, my uncles. We would all get together with my grandparents' house. My grandmother, along with my mom and my aunts, would cook Sunday dinner. And we just be over there just relaxing after church and then roll right into the NBA finals, which would be on NBA on NBC. And we just remember those days of the Bulls clinching championships and celebrating. But going back to 91, it was it was really surreal when you think about it, right? Because Chicago had plugged away in the sports world of just trying to plant the flag for the city in the sports world. And the Bears did it in 85, but I was born in 1985. I don't remember the 85 Bears. I'm sorry, anybody out there. Maybe you can say, all right, something, I was born in the right year with the 85 Bears
Yeah,
winning.
I was going to say, it's just the right year in Chicago for you.
Right, exactly.
It brought Cam Smith into Chicago, and it brought the Bears.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Bringing the city great luck and
Love
good luck. But my first memory was 1991, and how on the ride back from my grandparents' house, they lived on the south side on 79th and Walcott, and we were driving back to the west side to our house because we had to get ready for I think it was like summer camp or something like that the next day and get settled in back home. But the drive back home, there were so many people just out celebrating. And my dad had an old school Mazda. It was like a 4-door Mazda car, and it had a sunroof. And I just remember as a kid, me and my brother, and we were safe with this, we would do it at stoplights. We would stand up out of the sunroof and just cheer and celebrate and see other people driving by celebrating, everyone on the streets just having a great time. And it felt like a movie. It really did. It felt like one of those Disney movies where everyone's celebrating, everyone's loving each other. And you can say that, especially for a city that I consider where basketball is king, it really said a lot. And really, you could poke your chest out even more as a Chicagoan because the Bulls won an NBA championship. It's like we have the best player in the world. We have the best team in the world. Chicago is a city. We've been telling people this all of the time, but it's just proven and true with that. And Danny, you talked about me being a historian. Chicago has produced a lot of great basketball players. I can run down the list of guys that have really done some great things on every single level of basketball. But that moment in 91, for me, that memory always stands out because it was just so beautiful to see. And we beat the Lakers too. We beat Magic Johnson and the Lakers. So it was that was even a better chef's kiss to everything.
Well, and I love sports is supposed to bring people together, right? And even just you, Cam, just going through, remember watching, going to your grandma's house and watching the Bulls, and then, just specific details and just how it just was a part of your childhood and how it's a part of who you are now. I just think that's what sports is all about, right? It just brings people together, and you can tell how much you love this team just by hearing you talk about it. And so that's why when I heard that you got this job, Danny too, it brought such a big smile onto our faces because we're if anybody knows the Bulls, if anybody knows the city of Chicago, Cam, Cam is it. So tell everybody about your new job, Cam, what you're going to be doing. We're so stoked for you.
Yes, no, I appreciate that, Brooke and Danny. I have the honor and the privilege to be the host for Bulls Countdown Live. So the pre, halftime, and post game with my man Kendall Gill and Casey Johnson, and just a great staff that we have, the group that we have in terms of Naomi Gray, who produces it, a lot of the APs and Lyndon and Zach that are there as well, Matt Ellis, Mike McCarthy over at Stadium, Joe Riley, Jason Coyle, who has transitioned from his role as presidency, but still on the advisory board over at CHSN. These are guys that, for me, always pull for me and supported me, as both of you did as well. And CHSN has really, really shown a lot of love with that. But for me, as a Chicagoan, I'm really doing this. This is real. I'm the kid that used to watch the pre, halftime, and post games and would sit there like a basketball nerd that I am and just man, one day I would love to do something like that. That was always my goal. A lot of people don't know this, where, a lot of kids, when they play sports, they have aspirations and dreams of making it to the NBA or NFL or MLB, whatever it is. I get it. Every kid has that dream. But my backup was, and my parents let me know this, all right, that's good that you have an NBA dream, but you need to have a backup. So even as a kid, I wanted to do something on air. I wanted to be a broadcaster. And one of the big reasons why I wanted to do it, because this is old school. I'm talking to a certain crowd now, but you guys remember NBA Inside Stuff. Ahmad Rashad was my dude. Yes. And so Ahmad Rashad, for me, opened up my eyes and really my mind when it came to showing how athletes are also human. Right. So he would take a Michael Jordan or a David Robinson or Grant Hill away from the court, and you would just see 𝗵𝗻𝗀 throwing a football in Michael Jordan's backyard of his house, and they're just having just lifestyle questions and personal questions. Same thing with Grant Hill. Like, I'm like, Grant Hill sitting down at the piano with 𝗵𝗻𝗀, and I, as a kid, I'm saying, I didn't know Grant Hill knew how to play the piano, because every highlight that I would see of Grant Hill is him on a basketball court and dunking on someone. And it's the same thing with David Robinson. Like, I didn't know David Robinson played the saxophone, because you see these guys and you just see them in their profession and in their athletic environment, and you forget that they are humans at the end of the day. And 𝗵𝗻𝗀 just made it look cool too in those conversations. So I'm like, yeah, that'll be cool to be able to still be around the game and have these in-depth conversations and questions and just make it a fun piece. So seeing that and watching the Bulls pre and post and getting this job, it was just a wave of emotions hitting me. And to be honest, I got emotional, when the news was delivered to me and it was revealed to me that I was going to be the host for Bulls pre and post, because it was just a journey getting to this point. Like, I had worked so many different routes, and you guys know this, how this journey is when it comes to broadcasting and just the steps you have to take to get to certain positions.
I wanted to ask you about that specifically. We both did, because you've had a lot of jobs, yes, but you have stuck with this particular network for so long. There has been a journey that CHSN has come to be where it's at now. Yeah. And Cam Smith has been there for every single turn of that page. Yeah. And it can get frustrating. Brooke and I talk about this all the time, with her job with the White Sox. You have to sit and be patient and wait for your time to come. Yeah. And yes, of course, we're on some great shows and surrounded by, decent talent. I don't know about great talent.
No, great talent. Great talent. Look, talent. I have a list of talent that I work with that are doing some really dope stuff. So go ahead, Danny. I'll let you finish. I'll get into that list.
But you had to sit back and you get these gigs here and there, but it's like, when do I get that one gig that is the dream job? Yeah. And what has that process been like for you? Because it's hard to be patient. It's hard to be looked over at times. It's hard to sit around and know that you're invested in this group of people and you're hoping that they're just as invested back into you. What was that like for you?
And that's the special thing about Stadium at the time, but now CHSN, is that there were a group of people, and there are a group of people that always believed in my talent. And like you said, Danny, the biggest thing is patience with that. So this journey that I've been on throughout my career, just groundwork, origin story. A lot of people don't know that I played college basketball at Southern Illinois. I didn't have an opportunity to get an internship because I majored in radio and television because I wanted to have a career in broadcasting after I graduated. But I wasn't able to get an internship just because of my basketball schedule. So I actually had to take my junior year off from the team just so I can get involved into the student-run TV news station on campus. So I'm doing interviews, I'm working in the news station, doing some things with the basketball team on camera just to piece together some type of reel. And thankfully, my head coach was able to allow me to get back on the team my senior year. And I was able to finish that off with an appearance in the Sweet 16, which for me, again, basketball, just memories.
We'll get
there. Years, we'll definitely get there. So that was me coming out of college, where I come back to Chicago, and no offense to anyone that started in a small town, I'll get that route. But I knew that wasn't me. I couldn't do it. I had to go back to Chicago, and I understood what the journey would be. I didn't know it was going to be as rough and, really strenuous as it was. But the thing that really kept me grounded, guys, was one, my family. My parents always understood what my goals were, and we would always pray. Religion is a big thing in our family. We're very religious and spiritual, and making sure that, we give honor to the Most High. But then also, as my relationship with my then girlfriend, now wife, continued to strengthen, she was the biggest support system that I had, because we were living together in a studio apartment, and it was just, man, I was like, all right, what am I getting ready to do with this thing? Because I need to figure out what my career is going to be and where it's going to go. And my wife, Lisa, always trusted and believed in me. And so those things kept me going, and it helped me with my patience. And they understood that, hey, just because someone is having success or has moved on to another position that's a higher platform, that's great for them. You celebrate them, as we always do, genuinely. Just, it's not your time yet. And so going through that and seeing people have so much success, I'm like, that's great for them. I know my time will come at the end of the day. I continue to put out great work, be a good person, that things will turn around and come my way. And it just hit me, like I said, with a wave of emotions when I was offered this opportunity to be host for 𝗂𝗟 And I don't want to sound corny with this, but yes, it's true. Like dreams do come true with it. You have to stay the course. You really have to stay locked into what you do and what you put out. And having a group of people believe in you and really push for you, it just makes it even sweeter, because I know that I not only represent myself with this role with the Bulls, but I represent my family, I represent the organization, I represent the network, and it's something that I really embrace, and I'm really going to embody this as a Chicagoan. I represent the city of Chicago, and I want it to be, and I will be as authentic and just fun as I am. Like, I'm not going to switch up anything. I'm just going to showcase who I am and what I do, and it's going to be a fun ride.
And I feel like fans appreciate that too. Like, Chicago is just so different than any other city in a sense of they want to, when they're looking at the talent and they're watching, their favorite sports teams, like they want people that understand like the history, right? Like they understand they're a part of it too. And it's like they're in it, we're in it, like we're all in it together. And so I think like you're just like the perfect person. And I just think
thank you.
Just talking about the journey, it's so true. Like everything happens for a reason. Like, Cam, if somebody were to told you 5 years ago, like, you're going to get this job, like, what would you have said?
Wow. I would have looked at them like, okay, are you doing okay?
How is that going to happen?
Yourself? Yeah. Like, right, exactly, right. Because I'm on Facebook, and I'm sure you guys are as well, but you have those memories that pop up. And so I have those memories of posts that I put up maybe like 5 years ago, 7 years ago. And this was when I was doing high school sports for CN100, the CN100 network, which was a Comcast network. And there was a picture of me doing a sideline interview with a high school football coach. And it was like 7 years ago on this day. And I'm looking at this picture and I'm like, man, if I would have told this person 7 years later that you're going to be the host for Bulls Countdown Live, that person would have looked at me like, okay, dude, I don't know who you are, but just get away from me. Like, I don't know what's going on. But it's one of those things where, again, you just keep your head down and you just keep working. And we know that time moves so quickly. But yeah, 5 years ago, I wouldn't have imagined this. I didn't know what the next step was going to be. I wasn't sure on if I was going to be in Chicago. I didn't know, right? I mean, you come to those crossroads in your career where you're like, all right, I have to make a decision, especially with me having a family. At the time, it was just my wife and my son. And I wanted to make sure that I was able to provide for them. And that's always been one of my biggest things, is to make sure that I'm able to provide for my family and that they're okay. But in this business, you just never know.
Yeah, you're giving me chills. I like teared up just thinking about it. It's just so cool. We're so happy for you. And it could not happen to a better human being. When you guys hear Cam talk about his wife and giving Lisa kudos and talking about having a family, like, this man loves his family so much. Yeah. You now are a father of two. What is it like balancing this career and being dad when you get home? Yeah. What is that like for you?
You know what? It's getting ready to change soon, just because the schedule will change for sure, being host for Bulls Countdown Live, because I'll be home later, right? It's probably like after 10, after 11 some nights. So my kids will be asleep. So for me, it's about the mornings, because my wife is up early. She works from home. And it's about me getting the kids ready in the morning. So that's where I can spend the time with them and get the laughs and the tickles in with Kamari and joke around with Caden and watch soccer highlights, because he's a big time soccer player and all of that, and drop them off to school. So those are the moments where I can really enjoy with them, and then also picking them up. But we're still going through it. We're still adjusting to just that dynamic of having two kids in the household, like having an 8-year-old and a 1-year-old. You can imagine how much chaos is going on at any time.
Embrace the
with
chaos,
those age differences. Right? Yes, exactly. Well, right.
Yeah. I can tell you, as somebody whose mom worked in the morning and dad was around in the mornings to get us ready for school. So when you get your little girl ready, you better get ready to braid. He did a pigtail like no one's business. There you go. And we remember it. Morgan, my sister, and I still talk about our dad and how he could put together we had those hair bands at the time that could like wrap around with the little balls on the corners and stuff. Hopefully she doesn't throw some crazy hair ties at you or whatever. But I mean, I know you're gonna thrive in that.
Those are the memories that I want to have with my daughter where she can say as she gets older, like, yeah, Dad, I remember you used to, put my hair in ponytails and all that.
Yeah.
Initially it was rough, but you got better at it. So she's going to have to go through a trial error where like Daddy's working on some things. But once I get it, she'll be good to go.
Cam, I want to circle back real quick because, okay, you're a family guy. You've been in this industry for a while. You've proven yourself in that aspect. Danny touched on it briefly, and I want to get back to just your experience. You talked about your experience here at the, high school football and high school basketball in Chicago, but also you played at the collegiate level.
Yeah.
Take us through a little bit of that journey, just like because not only that, but a successful program. And how do you feel like that background has really just helped you in your role now with the Bulls, or how it will help you?
You know what? And that's why you mentioned patience. That's why I can really understand what patience means, going back to my basketball background and work ethic. At the end of the day, I really believe that sports are a microcosm of life. You can learn so much about yourself and life through just playing sports, whether it's just working for a common goal, obviously trying to shore up your end of things, no matter what position or player that you are, so that you can help the overall success of a team, but then also go through failures in the form of losses and what you need to work on to be better. So those experiences really helped me in this journey that I've been in now with my career. But yeah, playing at Gordon Tech High School, it was one of the best high school programs in the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois. Like, we've produced multiple Division I players. In fact, my senior year, I was the 7th straight player that the high school produced to go to the Division I level.
Wow.
And for me, I understood what that responsibility was. And also understood what the responsibility was as being Hodges' younger brother, because my brother was a hell of a player in high school and people had expectations for me. But it's just that, I would say, pressure and also expectation that really brings out the best of you, right? And I try to show my son that in certain ways when it comes to him playing soccer, of understanding what it means to work hard and do a little bit more so you can become better to help your team. But those are all things that I learned and characteristics that I learned playing basketball in Chicago and playing at Gordon Tech. And so what allowed me to be in a position to play for Southern Illinois is that I don't want to toot my own horn. You guys know that I'm humble, but
it's okay.
I was one of the I was one of the better guards in Chicago during my time. And so there were, at the time, there were a couple of camps that you can go to nationally that would invite some of the better players. So it would be Nike All-American Camp, the Adidas ABCD Camp, and then it was 5-Star Basketball Camp. And so I went to 5-Star Basketball Camp and really did a great job of just showcasing my skill and playing against some of the best players in the country. Like, I played against Chris Paul, and this was before Chris Paul came onto the big national scene, and he was really good. My team won. My team did win. So I got one up on Chris Paul, but then also too, I was a teammate of LeBron James. Like, it was me and LeBron James playing, going into our sophomore year of high school. Yeah, the summer before our sophomore year of high school. And so it really allowed me to understand that, okay, I have a talent. How do I continue to maximize this so I can get a collegiate scholarship? And that was always the goal for me, was making sure that my parents didn't have to pay for college, because they did so much for me in my life and provided and sacrificed so much. Like, they would always be at my games, along with my brother games. If my brother, as I mentioned, played in college, they would drive a couple of hours. I would play Friday night. That next day, they would wake up and drive a couple of hours to go watch my brother play. If I had a game that night, that Saturday night again, they would drive back to the city to watch me play. And so that sacrifice for me was like, hey, this is the least that I can do for them, is try and work my tail off so I can get them a college scholarship or get a college scholarship. But it came down to a decision that I made with _値çi University my senior year.
I was going to ask you what to come down to. So we know you go to Southern Illinois, but where were the other contenders?
So I had some interest from some schools. 値çi.
You don't want to wear brown anyways. Yuck.
No. And 値çi, maybe this is something that they have to understand.
Their colors are poop brown, Cam.
They are brown. And Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. So you're talking about someone from Chicago. And I'm like, okay, do I want to go to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania with those school colors? And then also, they didn't have the major that I wanted. They didn't have radio and television. So that was really one of the big decisions why I didn't attend 値çi. And Danny, you know this, recruiting, they hit me with we have 2 scholarships available. we're recruiting 5 guys. You could be one of the 2 scholarships. Right. Tell us right now. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm playing my senior year out. So I played my senior year out, got back to it. The scholarships at Lehigh were gone, but there was still an opportunity at Southern Illinois. And so I decided to go to Southern and go there. And playing behind guys that were like 5th-year seniors, some guys that went into the program's basketball Hall of Fame and the school's Hall of Fame, I understood patience and like, all right, my time isn't going to come. And eventually it came in moments, but ultimately I didn't have the career that I wanted to, but that's all right though, because at the end of the day, my tuition was paid for.
Who was your coach? Come on.
My coach.
Tell people.
So people have to understand this. So going into my freshman year, this is when Bruce Weber left Southern Illinois and took over the Illinois job. And so Matt Painter was my coach my freshman year. And that year we went 17-1. We ended up losing the final game of the regular season. If we would have went 18-0, we would have been the second team in conference history to go undefeated in the conference. So the only other team that did that was Larry Bird's Indiana State Sycamores. They were the only other team in the conference history that went undefeated. So we were just one game away. We almost tied Larry Bird. But
I think it's
Painter,
just so cool that you played for Coach Painter. I just
my
I
gosh.
just think that's dope.
He's one of my
that people need to know about him as a coach. I mean, you played for him.
Yeah, no, he's super cool and just as real as it gets. And
intense.
Oh my gosh, intense. Yes, if you took it there, if you needed some motivation, he would definitely give it to you. But he was one of those dudes that didn't sugarcoat anything, and I always appreciated that as a player. And I think all athletes should appreciate that from a coach, that one would tell you what was real, but then also 2, help you work towards those goals that they had for you and that you had for yourself. And that was Coach Painter. And he knew who your family members were. It wasn't like, all right, Coach, my mom and my dad are coming in. He would call them by name, like, oh, okay, how's your mom, Leonette, doing? How's your dad, Hodges, doing? Is your brother coming? So he would know our families. And those holiday seasons where we couldn't go back home during Thanksgiving, he would host us over at his home and we would sit and eat with his family. So we'd have Thanksgiving dinner there. And he's just one of those guys that left a lasting impression on me and a lasting mark. And also Coach Laurie, who took over for Coach Painter after Coach Painter left after my freshman year. And those next 3 years, it was the same thing where in terms of his expectations, his authenticity, and just who he was as a family man really left big impressions on me. So those were some very, very great coaches that I was blessed to have in my career. And we did some great things as a team.
Tell us about this. We'll sit back and listen. What is it like your senior year and your team makes it to the Sweet 16? Like, what is that like?
So to rewind it back to freshman year, leading up to my senior year, the team that made the NCAA tournament, this is going back to before I came in. So the 2002 season, 2002-2003 season, they made the Sweet 16. They ended up losing to UConn with Caron Butler and Ben Gordon. So this is a team and a program that had made the NCAA tournament and really put themselves on the map as a mid-major, right? So the expectation was, okay, make the tournament every year, which we did, right? We made the tournament every single year. But my senior year, it was more pressure because the class that I came in with, Jamal Tatum, who was one of the best guards in our program history, along with Tony Young, who was another one of the best guards in our program history, they understood that this was the final go-around for us. And keep in mind, this is me coming back to the team my senior year because I took my junior year off. And I came with motivation like, hey, I watched you guys. This is what we need to do. Try to provide some insight and some help there in terms of what my role is for that group. But we really opened up eyes across the country. So we were one of the best defensive teams, numbers-wise, in the country. We finished the year ranked, I believe, 11th or 12th, which was the highest ranking the school ever got in program history. And then also we were a 4 seed in the NCAA tournament. So imagine little Southern Illinois, the mid-major, being a 4 seed in the NCAA tournament. And we always envisioned ourselves as a Final Four team. Like, you couldn't tell us anything different. We had all the pieces. And so during that tournament run, we faced off against some really, really good programs. When you go back to Holy Cross, I believe it was, we played in the first round. And then we played against Virginia Tech, a team that we had faced early in the year, and we whooped them early in the year to a tournament in Orlando. And then it was even worse when we played them in the second round of the NCAA tournament. And so now as the tournament goes on, and we were the Cinderella, and yeah, everybody's hopping on the bandwagon, all these guys from Southern Illinois, and people saying, well, I've been watching them all year. They're one of the best defensive teams in the country. And we get into the matchup against number 1 Kansas. And this is multiple McDonald's All-Americans. I think they had 8 guys that made it to the NBA and played in the NBA. So Brandon Rush, Sharon Collins, Mario Chalmers, who played with the Heat, right? I mean, that next year, this is the Kansas team the prior year, my senior year, they ended up losing in the Elite Eight. But that next year, they beat Memphis in the national championship. The Mario Chalmers 3 that sent to the overtime, and they ended up winning the national championship. But they still had the majority of guys from that national championship team the year prior on that team. So we were competing with them and ended up, unfortunately, losing by 3. But it was just so cool being in that environment. And even before getting to the arena, we had the police escort from our hotel to the arena, and it felt like we were rock stars, and it was pretty cool. And we get to the game, and it was just like, all right, at the end of the day, it's basketball, and we're going to show and prove why we're in the position, why we're deserving to have a chance at winning that game.
That's so cool. I love your journey, and I'm so glad that you're explaining your journey, Cam, because you've been a part of the game. You've experienced the adversity. You've experienced the success. You experienced, so many aspects of it. And I feel like it's important for you to explain this, especially going into your new role, because, you talk about humanizing these players. It's like you can relate to these guys in a lot of ways. Like you can, when you sit down with them, like you've been in it. And Danny, like being a collegiate athlete yourself, like you probably can feel the same way. And that's so important when you're trying to, especially when you're in this job, I feel like.
It's funny because I think it relates not only to players, but like your coworkers as well. Cam, do you remember the first thing I ever said to you?
Oh my goodness. Look, okay, yes. So the first time that I ever met Danny, and the first thing that she said to me, at the time I tore my Achilles playing basketball. So that was kind of like my first red flag.
So I see him and he's on a little scooter. This is the first time we're meeting. We've never met.
First time in the office.
When we were like the rally and Live on the Line first
Yes, right when our show was going to start.
I don't remember the scooter. Okay.
Oh my gosh. I was whipping that thing all around the office. So we're in the office, Brooke, and everyone is in the office. And I just finished doing something. I don't know what it was, but I came back up. I'm on my scooter and I come over to the area where we were sitting for Live on the Line. And there's Danny and Brandon Velasquez, the producer for the show, introduced us like, Cam, this is Danny, this is Cam. You guys going to be working together. And Danny looks at me. She looks down at the scooter, Brooke. She looks up at me and she was like, oh, what happened? Somebody cross you over and break your ankle? I'm just like, ah.
I love it.
I'm like, who is this person? One, I like it because I can joke with anybody. I can joke with the best of them. And also have thick skin. Like you have to have thick skin to be an athlete and be a basketball player for sure. But I was just like, okay, I see that. I like that. Okay.
My office was like, oh. And I was
my God.
I didn't realize I there.
Everybody it was an uproar, Brooke. Everybody was like, oh, I'm like, oh, okay. All right. I like it. You know what? I'm going to like working with Danny.
But just kind of goes to like when you're around athletics and you've played before, the lingo and it can create a more comfortable environment. I mean, if I would have just said hi and Danny, that's lame.
Yeah, and look, at the end of the day, you play sports and you're in an athletic environment, you got to be able to take jokes. Like you got to be able to dish it. You got to be able to take it. Like it is what it is, at the same time. But it just reminds you of just that camaraderie that you can translate from the sports world to with your coworkers. And having that with Danny was so special. And so that let me know too, especially the energy and tone of the show that we did with Live on the Line, because we joked around with each other all the time. Good. I'm like, okay, perfect. It's going to be perfect. Like, this is great. I would rather have this person, Danny, who is phenomenal at what she does, have that sense of humor, can dish jokes, can take jokes. I would rather have her than someone that was not as friendly, not as being able to be humorous and laugh and all that stuff. So it just made for a great work environment. So it was really cool.
it's going to translate so well for you having that basketball background to interview these athletes too.
It
But
is.
Cam, we wanted to play, Brooke, before we get to our little game here, is there anything else you want to know out of him before we get there? Because he is a hot take king.
Well, I mean, I think like a huge, well, I think, okay, there's a few things. A huge reason, like we want fans to get to know you, Cam. And like, okay, so we talk about your background. We know you're a family man. Like what else, what interests you when you aren't, you know, being a dad and when you're not having to be at work, when you're not watching hoops, like what is Cam doing? What do you like
listening? Yes, definitely. See, DK knows me. She knows me. Yes, music head. Like my wife and I love live music. Like we literally last weekend went to go see a DJ set, 𝗂𝗑 for a selection at Concord Music Hall. So like we are always out watching artists, our favorite artists that are in town. No matter what genre it is, we love music. And that's my thing. Like I was literally blasting some music before I came on and did this and got a text from my wife just like, all right, can you turn it down? I'm still at work. I'm like, all right, I'm sorry. But no, music has always been my getaway. It's been my source of just therapy in a sense, right? Whether no matter what emotion that I'm going through, it's just always something that I play to just lift my spirits or to keep me mellow. And so that's always what I'm listening to is music.
Okay. What music are you listening to before you go on set?
Ooh, Brooke, that's a great question. You know what? I like the slow down. I'm an old school type of dude. So I like more like R&B to kind of set the mood for myself where it's just smooth and mellow. And this is going back to me being from Chicago, following the Bulls, being a crazy Michael Jordan fan because he is the GOAT. Let me just put that out there for anybody that's like, okay, I want to know who is GOAT. Is it LeBron or is it Michael Jordan? No, it's Michael Jordan. No doubt. And I'm not going to argue with anybody with that.
But I was going to make you argue it, but I'm not.
Oh, no. We'll have a healthy debate here on Sideline. That's what we do.
But no, as a kid, I found out that Michael Jordan listened to Anita Baker, who's a phenomenal, great R&B singer before games. And so he said that would kind of calm him down, calm down his heart rate so he can go in focus. And so I try to apply that to before I go on set. I'm listening to R&B music, but there are times where I like to, turn up a little bit, get some energy going. And so I have different songs playing for myself there, whether it's like rap or hip hop.
Okay.
You are so glued into the music industry though. And I feel like maybe you can if you were going to put people on some artists, who are some under the radar artists that you're listening to right now? Can you give us a top 5?
Top 5.
It doesn't need to be right now, but any underrated artists that you think are phenomenal, you would go watch them live if you could, or if they came to town. Who do people need to listen to?
If I could put together my own music festival and these 5 artists were on the list, it has to be this 5. And some are underrated, some are well known, but I talked about R&B and me being a big R&B person. Sade is my favorite music artist of all time. Like I love me some Sade. Like every single song I probably know word for word. So she would be on there. But an underrated artist that I really love is 𝗪𝐼 𝗁𝐿, 𝗪𝐼 𝗁𝐿, 𝐶𝐂LON. And super indie, but just relaxing vibes. Somebody that just kind of, you can play music, whether you're at work or cleaning up or just out having a good time. He has a great vibe about himself and very mysterious too with his approach, kind of similar to Sade. So I really like 𝗪𝐼 𝗁𝐿. Another band or a band that I love too is The Internet. My wife and I love The Internet. That's our favorite band, no doubt. From LA, super smooth vibes. Like I remember watching their video Girl for the first time. This is years ago. I'm cleaning up the house and I had my TV on a music channel. And the video comes on, I literally stopped what I was doing and was just mesmerized by this video. Like, what is this song? What am I watching? Because it was just that dope. So let me see another one.
I knew you were going to say The Internet. That one was.
I love The Internet. I love The Internet.
I love this so much because I feel like music that's on the radio these days, or whoever still listens to the radio, I guess that shows my age. But anyways, like, it's not good. It's not good anymore.
So it's the same songs over and over again.
The same songs, the same beats, the lyrics suck. Like I need some good recommendations. And I used to be the same. I used to be the same way, Cam. Like I would just like find random artists and like I used to be so passionate about it. And now it's like I kind of lost that interest. So thank you for recommending some good artists and getting me excited about music again.
Here's another band. Men I Trust is a really good band. Men I Trust is a really good band. They're from Canada, really nice. And then Solange, Beyonce's younger sister. I hate to say Beyonce's younger sister, but Solange she's a great artist.
Love that. See, there's your top. I knew we would have a good 5 list to put out there for people.
All the artists are very smooth in what they do. And I try and, pattern myself in who I am just off the music that I listen to. I just try and, view myself as someone that's smooth and laid back and cool and, provides a good energy and good vibe to things.
And real quick before we move on to the game, everybody that's going to be watching Cam on pre and post, he's going to have a strong shoe game. So you have a great sneaker collection. So we got to give a little shout out.
Thank you, B. Thank you. I got some things in the tuck that I'm keeping on ice for right now, just to kind of for special occasions, because it will be a special season for the Bulls. Of course, the Ring of Honor is going to be the second class for the Bulls being inducted, like Horace Grant, Bill Cartwright, John Paxson, Neil Funk, longtime broadcaster for the Bulls, and then also Derrick Rose jersey retirement night this year too. So it's going to be a special season for the Bulls on and off the court.
And real quick, what excites you most about the Bulls this season before we go to the game?
No, they are a fun team to watch. They really are. And I say that wholeheartedly, because if you look at this group, especially after All-Star break and what we saw, it was one of the more exciting teams that you saw in the NBA. Not just pace of play, but how they were able to win ball games. You go back to March and how they beat the Lakers and how they just continued to chip away at that thing. And it ended in Josh Giddey hitting the half-court shot over LeBron James. They, with Giddey, with Modest Buzelis and Kobe White, they like to get up and down. They make plays at the rim. So that's what I'm really excited to see with this team, of just how they grow as a unit. So they have some built-in chemistry. They had a great finish to the season last year, and hopefully they can hit the ground running when things get going soon.
We're excited for it. Good little breakdown on next season. So exciting. Okay, Cam, we're just going to play, and I made up this game, and it's probably just go with me here.
Okay, all right.
Hot take or Hall of Fame? So I've got some bold statements here, and you have to decide if it's just a hot take or if that statement belongs in the Hall of Fame.
Okay. I'm ready.
High school basketball atmospheres are better than college basketball games.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I know you cover high school basketball.
I know. I say hot take, though. Hot take, and this is why, because high school basketball has changed so much in Chicago, where a lot of rivalries that were there aren't really there anymore, because a lot of these best players are going to prep schools, and it takes away from just that natural environment that's there. Not to say that the environment is dead, but when you talk about college basketball environments and the crowds and the atmosphere and just how these guys are really going after each other, I got to go with the college basketball environment. So yeah, that's a hot take, that high school basketball environments are better than college.
Okay. That's a good point. Just, I feel like, and that's starting to kind of change in college too. Okay. Steph Curry changed basketball more than Michael Jordan did.
Oh, come on now, Brooke. Now you're not going to do this. I just talked about Michael Jordan being my GOAT. No, that's a hot take. It's a hot take. But I would say that Steph isn't too far off. And this is why I say that, because everyone is not that plays basketball. Everyone is not 6'6" and just an elite athlete like Michael Jordan was. I mean, he was a one of one, but there are more people that are similar to height that Steph Curry is, and say, okay, well, I don't have to do a 360 dunk or a reverse layup through 3 people to make a highlight. If I can learn how to shoot the basketball and maybe pull up from half court, then yeah, I could be more like Steph Curry than that. So Steph Curry, I think when you think about maybe a top 5 or top 3 guys that have changed the game of basketball, no doubt Michael Jordan is 1, and then Steph Curry is right behind him at 2. But I got to go hot take on that, bro, because Michael Jeffrey Jordan for sure changed the game of basketball on and off the court. And that's what people forget about it. It's just not what he did on the court, but it's what he did off the court with Jordan Brand and how he influenced a lot of deals in terms of marketing.
Okay. Defense doesn't win championships anymore. Offense does.
Okay, so that's a hot take. And here's why. 1, because I'm a defensive guy. Like every program that I play for in my basketball career, it was all about defense. And I understand that this era of basketball is all about offense and score, score, score. But when you look at the final moments of a lot of these NBA finals and championships, those game clinching moments, it's about the defense getting those stops. So that's why I'm going to go defense for sure. Is still, people say the cliche wins championships, but it is. But that's a hot take that offense is taking over. I can't do it.
Okay, how about this one? Dunk contest should be replaced with a one-on-one tournament.
Ooh, Hall of Fame. Yes.
Ah, nice.
Yes, I'm going Hall of Fame. There's only so many dunks that you can do. There are only so many dunks that you can do. Yes, I know. And it makes it even worse that these guys have about 10 or 15 attempts to complete one dunk. Like, you lose the crowd. After you miss your second dunk, it's over. Just do something simple so you can get points. But when you look at the history of NBA dunk contests, the great dunk contests are when a player makes that first attempt and it just carries over that energy for the rest of the competition. So I like the aspect, and hopefully this is something that replaces the dunk contest, is just going one-on-one. Just do that. Do one-on-one. Have these guys go at each other. And everybody talks about it now, especially in this era of basketball. Oh, let's play ones or 1v1. And I want to see that. You're talking about some of the best one-on-one players in the world that play in the NBA. So why not just have them say check ball and go ones and twos and go up to maybe like 5 or something like that? Because I think 10 or 11 is way too much.
Who in the NBA would you like to see go one-on-one?
Oh, my gosh. Give me Anthony Edwards. Ooh, and Ja Morant. I want to see those two. Like, Anthony Edwards and Ja Morant will be really good. So put them on one side of the bracket, and on the other side of the bracket, give me Giannis Antetokounmpo. Ooh, I got to be careful when I say this next name. You got to bear with me. Nikola Jokic. I want to put the Joker and Giannis against each other, just because I think that's a styles makes fights. That's what they always say in boxing, right? And so when you look at the Joker and Giannis, those are two dynamics that are interesting because, one, yes, you have two skill sets that can really overpower each other, but it's all about defense and who can get the stop and move on to that final to see if they can face off against Ant or Ja Morant. So
we just have a couple more here, Cam, for you. Remember the Titans is the best sports movie.
Hot take. No, it is not. No. Brooke, don't look at me. Don't give me that reaction, Brooke. Do not give me that reaction. And Danny's laughing because this has been a hot take during our Live on the Line days where we would have some very passionate arguments about where Remember the Titans ranks on a all-time sports movies list.
Okay. Who's at the top of your list?
Well, I'm a basketball guy, so I'm going to go He Got Game. He Got Game is always going to be number one for me. But it just, you can only go to certain levels when you talk about Disney movies. And Remember the Titans is a Disney movie. And so
there's a ceiling there.
It's definitely a ceiling, and it's hitting his head at that ceiling every time.
I know you are very passionate about this. Give me your 5 best sports movies. Go.
Oh, okay. He Got Game, number one for sure. I'll throw Friday Night Lights in there. I consider this next movie a movie and also a documentary, but Hoop Dreams. Chicagoans know what I'm talking about. Hoop Dreams. You guys know what I'm talking about too. Hoop Dreams for me, especially for two guys that grew up on the West Side, and Arthur Agee grew up minutes away from where I grew up on the West Side. It just left a crazy just tattoo on my brain of just having our basketball stars be put on one of the biggest stages. So those are 3. I like Any Given Sunday. Any Given Sunday is a really good movie. Yeah, Any Given Sunday is a good one. I feel
like you're purposely skipping Remember the Titans just to annoy me. I do feel like it deserves a top 5.
I feel like it deserves to be the top 5.
No, it's top. It'll be top 10, but it's not top 5. Not
Loving Basketball.
Not Loving Basketball. Here's one. I want to throw. I'm always torn between this one because I'll do this. I'll throw Rocky in there. My brother and I and our cousins are huge, ridiculous Rocky fans, and also Creed fans too. So that's why I'm torn. I was saying I was torn because I'm like, do I put Rocky in there? Do I put Creed in there? And then also which one of those versions of Rocky or Creed do I put in there. But
No
I'll go with
baseball
that.
ones, but it's okay. I'll allow it.
No, it's all right. No, you know what, Brooke? I really like For the Love of the Game with Kevin Costner. That was a really good movie. Kevin
It's
Costner.
a good one. Yeah.
I like that one. And then also The Fan.
I like
with Robert De Niro and Wesley Snipes. It was a dark movie, but it was really good.
Okay, we got some honorable mentions there. We'll allow it.
Yeah, there you go. Right. I don't want any smoke. I don't want any smoke from the household, Brooke. So I got the baseball movies in there as honorable mentions.
We appreciate that.
My son and I were actually 2 weeks ago watching Angels in the Outfield because he wanted to watch that. So we were watching that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the scene where there's so many good scenes, but we quote that one all the time. Yeah. It's a Disney movie, but it's quotable.
It is. Okay. It is a Disney movie, but it's a good one.
One more, Cam. That's it. One more.
Danny, you got it? You want me to do it?
Go for it.
Okay. Ketchup on a Chicago dog.
Yes. Hall of Fame. Yes, I'm getting right into the camera. Hall of Fame. There are more of us out there that put ketchup on hot dogs that are from Chicago. Yes, we exist. So interesting story about this. So this is years ago, watching the Cubs game at Wrigley Field. I'm like, all right, let me just go to the hot dog stand and give me a hot dog. Go get my hot dog. And the ketchup is right over to the side where, you go place your order. So I step to the side. I'm putting ketchup on my hot dog, Chicago style hot dog. And the next person that was behind me looked over at me and said, ew, you're putting ketchup on a hot dog? I'm like, yeah, this is my hot dog. I pay for this. I'm going to dress up my hot dog how I want to do it. If you want me to not put ketchup on it, then you buy me a hot dog and then I won't put ketchup on it. But no, yes, I put ketchup on a lot of different things, and hot dogs for sure, it goes on it. So
I respect that so much because I usually put ketchup on my hot dog, and I've gotten a lot of crap here in the city of Chicago. You can't put ketchup on a hot dog. To your point, Cam, it's my hot dog.
Brooke, you should have FaceTimed me. You should have FaceTimed me. And I would have been like, no, you leave Brooke Fletcher alone right now. She's all right. There are more people out there that put ketchup on hot dogs than you know, especially in Chicago. Reveal yourselves. I'm one.
This is good to know. I'm going to call you next time, Cam.
Look, I mean, Bulls fans, CHSN fans, I mean, you guys have totally lucked out getting Cam Smith as your host of pre and post Bulls games. Cam, we are so excited for you. You are so much fun. You have great hot takes. You're passionate. You're a historian, as we've talked about, a hooper at heart. You bleed Chicago through and through. We're so, so, so proud of you and so excited for you. And thanks so much for giving us some of your time today.
No, thank you so much for having me. And the support is not lost on me. I really appreciate you guys and so many people, family, friends, just to see the Chicago really wrapping their arms around me with this new position. It's really been surreal. And so even Brooke's dog back there supporting me. Yes, exactly. Right. No, even Frank supported me. So thank you. Thank you so much. Like, I really appreciate and embrace all the love. But no, it means everything to have this role because, again, I know what I'm representing and who I'm representing, and it's going to be a great time.
Oh, we're pumped for you. Great stuff, Cam. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you, guys.